morning, Sunday school friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to be talking about Zacchaeus. Now, you might have heard of him before. There's a song that goes along with his story. But today we're going to be talking about him and forgiveness and change. Now, he was a tax collector, and tax collectors were not very respected people. Especially Zacchaeus, he was known to steal and cheat people. So he was not seen as a good person. But suddenly he was hanging out with Jesus and having dinner with him. He had climbed up into a tree and he was desperate for Jesus to see him. And he wanted to make this change. He knew that there was something inside of him that he wanted to change. And Jesus might have sensed that too. He asked to be forgiven. If people are in our lives and they ask to be forgiven, how do we deal with that? How do we accept that we want people to change? We often get very wrapped up in this story about a man in a tree wanting to get Jesus's attention. But if we look a little bit closer in the story, we can find that this follows our theme of inclusion and forgiveness. So let's read the story of Zacchaeus next. All right, so our Bible story today is Luke chapter 19, verses 1 through 10. Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through. A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was very wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but being a short man, he could not because of the crowd. So he ran and he climbed a sycamore fig tree to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. All the people saw this and began to mutter, "He has gone to the guest of a sinner." But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, "Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor. And if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay them back 4 times the amount." Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man has come to seek and save what has lost." So let's break down this story in our video next.
Hey friends, it's Samuel. Have you ever been in a situation that felt unfair to you? In this story, the crowd of people definitely thought what was happening was unfair. Oh wait, let me rewind and tell you the story. Jesus is walking into Jericho, where there is a crowd of people to meet him. Zacchaeus, a tax collector, climbs up in a tree to see Jesus over the crowd. Tax collectors were not popular in those days. They were known for being unfair, cheating people out of their money, and making the lives of people really hard. As Jesus walks through the crowd, he stops at the most unexpected person, Zacchaeus. I wonder if the crowd thinks Jesus is going to be mad at Zacchaeus or yell at him. Instead, Jesus tells Zacchaeus to come down because he's going to stay at his house that day. Huh? He chose Zacchaeus? The crowd was not happy. How could Jesus stay with someone who had done wrong? Zacchaeus is so excited to welcome Jesus, and he promises to be fair. Jesus never mentioned the bad things Zacchaeus did, but Jesus helps Zacchaeus change by being kind and loving. Jesus shows us how to give people second chances, even when we don't know if they deserve them. Sometimes people just need a chance to be better. Last year, I started a new school and didn't know anybody. I hated being the new kid, and I didn't know how to make friends. Instead of trying, I was really grumpy. I didn't talk to anyone. One day, one of the kids in my class invited me to go to the park. I was so surprised. I knew I had not been nice because I was upset about being at a new school and not knowing anybody. When I went to the park, I made a lot of new friends. After that, I wasn't grumpy or alone anymore. I was so grateful that they invited me and gave me a chance. The people around Zacchaeus that day thought it was unfair that Jesus would choose him over them. Jesus saw past his mistakes, and he knew he could be better. Jesus was right. Zacchaeus changed. Instead of assuming people won't change, let's remember that Jesus guides us to give everyone a chance. Now, it's time for you to wonder.
So Zacchaeus was not well liked in his community because he was a tax collector. And I wonder sometimes if this made him feel left out or because he was different from others. And I know that there are things that make us different from other people, and sometimes we can feel left out too. It's not something that's a new feeling. But today, Jesus was guiding us through this lesson to forgive others. And I know that forgiving people can be complicated. Sometimes it makes us feel better, and sometimes it makes us feel the same. But in this moment, God is guiding us and showing us the way that we can really forgive and we can really include others that are different than us and that truly want to change. So let's put our hands together and pray. Lord, thank you for loving us, for forgiving us, for showing us the way through your light. We are here with you now. As we go about our world, please let us think about people who are different than us and make sure that they are included. All right, ready? Big finish? Amen. All right, friends, I'll see you next week. Bye.